Hello, and welcome to another edition of Booze and Hacking. I am your host, Dark Hoodie, and we are back with another Try Hack Me room. This one is called Fowsniff CTF. As you can already tell, I have completed this room already, but I never got to record it, so here we are. And before we jump into the room, let's talk about what we are drinking. This is called Jewel of Russia Vodka. I picked this up recently at a whiskey fest, and it is dangerously smooth. It literally goes down like the water that it looks like. And interesting thing about this vodka is that it has been featured in several movies. One of which is part of my favorite franchise, the John Wick movies. You will see this prominently displayed in the office of Viggo's brother in John Wick 2, at the chop shop where John goes to retrieve his beloved Mustang. And so, in any case, if you fancy a drink, by all means, grab something and join me as we attack this room. So as per usual, I've already opened up the virtual machine. Here is our IP address. And as usual, in the interest of time, I have already begun my Nmap scan using my scanning bash script. This time around, I didn't scan for all ports. I just went to the common ports. So let's see what we have here. We have port 22, which is running Secure Shell over Ubuntu. Port 80, which is running HTTP over an Apache web server. And right away, one of the things that I see that's interesting is that it mentions robots.txt, but it also says one disallowed entry, which typically means there's nothing there for me to look at. Following this, we have port 110, which is running POP3 for email, and port 143, which is running IMAP for email. And so that is all the ports there. So let's go ahead and take our IP address and pump it into our browser so we can see what's happening here. 10.10.238.233. 10.10.238.233. And what we have here is a website for a corporation, Fowsniff Corp. And we are told immediately that the website is temporarily out of service. There has been a data breach, resulting in the exposure of employee usernames and passwords. And along with this, as you read further, it says the attackers were also able to hijack our official @Fowsniff Corp Twitter account. So that is definitely worth looking at. Let's go back to our browser. Let's get to Twitter. And I have to sign in using my own Twitter account. And I keep forgetting to add that to my Proton Pass @MHernandezTech. So I am going to search now for @Fowsniff Corp. And I misspelled it. So let's try again. And up, I saw it down below. There it is. So right over here, we see this account is part of an educational challenge. And so, okay, there we are. Now, the banner above says Fowsniff Corp has been pwned. And there is a paste bin page here that it's messaging. So let's have a look and see what this pastebin site says. So I'm going to click on that. And right away we see the pastebin which is mentioning that passwords, users, host names are entirely fictional, okay, but there is a password dump here. Backups of the password dump can be found here. So we have this raw.github user content page and a web.archive.org page. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can find the backup here. So I'm going to copy this link and paste that in here. And here we have the Fowsniff core password leak. And in the leak, we see that there are email addresses along with what appear to be hashes. And as we look down further, we see that it's mentioning that MD5 is insecure. MD5 hash is insecure. And so it stands to reason that these hashes are all MD5. One of the things that we can note from here is that these email addresses, more than likely, the names prior to the @ symbol are the usernames. That would be a safe assumption to make. So let's go ahead and go to my favorite MD5 cracking site, which is crackstation.net. And so what I've also done in the interest of time, and let's open up another terminal here, another tab, is I have taken the liberty of creating some text files that have the files that we need. I have username fo.txt, and I have here password fo.txt, and I believe I made a hash one as well, but let's have a look here. Well, no need to waste time with that. What I am going to do, though, is I'm going to go back to the previous page, and I'm going to copy these hashes. And I'm going to paste them here. Now I realize I have the email addresses here, so what I'm going to do is get rid of the email addresses. And we'll just take a minute to do all this. Pour yourself another drink while I'm doing so. Okay, so my hashes are all here, and I am not a robot. And CAPTCHA. Bridges. Let's get all the bridges out of the way here. Alright, let's crack these hashes, shall we? Let's go ahead. And so, I have here all the corresponding passwords to these hashes, except for one. Okay, so we're going to have to figure out whose password that is. So what I am going to do is I'm going to open up another terminal, and I think it's safe to use Hydra. So I'm going to go back to my terminal, and I'm going to type in Hydra dash uppercase L, and I am going to use my text file with the usernames. So it's username fo.txt, and the passwords, which is here in password fo.txt, password fo.txt. And now we're going to be attacking the POP3 server, the mail server. So I'm going to type in POP3 : / and our IP address. And I'm going to go back here. It's 10.10.238.233. So 10.10.238.233. And let's run this, shall we? Okay, and right away we've got a username and its corresponding password. Let's give it a minute, see if it finds anything else for us. I love how Hydra tells you here, several providers have implemented cracking protection. Check with a small word list first and stay legal. Always humorous. Okay, so Hydra's given us this username and password. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use Telnet to see if I can connect to the POP3 server using this username and password. So I'm going to go ahead and open another tab, and I'm going to do Telnet 10.10.238.233, and we're talking about port 110. Okay, it says here, welcome to the Fowsniff corporate mail server. All right, so we've hit the page, but we have not logged in yet. So now we're going to use the syntax to get into the mail server. So we're going to do user, and I believe the username looks like Saina. All right, and the password is Scooby-Doo2. So let's do pass Scooby-Doo2. All right, we are now officially logged in. Let's see what we've got here. Now the command in the telnet is list, and we have here 2 email messages. So let's go ahead and retrieve the first one, and that syntax is retr1 for message 1. Let's have a look. So it says here, this email message has come from, it says delivered, it's delivered to Saina Fowsniff. It's delivered to all these folks from Stone at Fowsniff. Okay, so this might be important. I think it's very well possible that Stone may well be the administrator. But let's read. Dear all, a few days ago, malicious actor was able to gain entry, yada yada yada. Oh, look what we have down here. The temporary password for SSH is this sick and bluff plus secure shell. You must change this password as soon as possible. So that already tells us that AJ Stone is very likely to be the administrator. And he's given us the temporary password for SSH. Alright, so let's go ahead now and look at the second message. So we're going to do retr number 2. And now this message is coming from Backstein to Saina. Let's see. Devin, you should have seen the brass lay into AJ today. AJ Stone, our admin. So basically, the bosses were laying into AJ Stone, so he was most likely the administrator, and he got chewed out for the breach. I'm going to head home early and eat some chicken soup. Feel better. P.S. Make sure you change your email password. AJ had been telling us to do that right before Captain Profanity showed up. All right, so we now know that Stone is most likely the administrator here, and we have the SSH, we have the password to the secure shell, but we need to run another Hydra attack because we need to find out which user can use that password to log in to the web server using secure shell. So I'm going to go back now to my previous tab. This time I am still going to use my username, my username file rather, but this time I'm going to do lowercase p, and I'm going to grab that password from the email account. I'm going to copy this here, paste it to here, right, and use this to see whose username I can use to log in to the web server using secure shell. And let's see, I didn't get anything, and I have to wonder why. Let's try this again, make sure I did this right. So oh, no wonder. Here's where my mistake was. I did POP3 instead of SSH. So let's try that again. Oh, here we go. So right away, it's Backstein who can log into Secure Shell with that password. So I'm going to go back now. Let me hold on to this. I'm going to open up another tab because now I am going to SSH as Backstein into the POP3 server. 238.233 I believe is what it is. Okay, so far so good. Do I want to continue? Yes. And now here's the password part. So let's see if I can do it this way. I don't often have luck doing copy paste when it comes to passwords, but let's give it a shot. Oh, sweet. Okay. So we are now in the Fowsniff Corp server. And the first thing we see here is a sort of a splash page, which is interesting to see. Let's first get an idea of what Backstein's permissions are. So we're going to do ID. And Backstein is listed as a user. He's in the users group. Okay. So let's first find out what files are here and what permissions they have. So we're going to use the find function, and I'm going to do -type f group users, and we're going to send this to devnull. And there's a lot of stuff here. Okay, let's scroll up a little and start from the beginning. All right, so here's Backstein's home folder, files that are his. One of the things, though, that's mostly interesting for our purposes is that there is a bash script called cube.sh, and it is in the opt/cube directory. So I'm going to CD into that, opt_cube. So cd/opt/cube. Let's see what's in here. Okay, the cube file is in here. Let's cat that file. So right away, we see that this is that splash screen that we mentioned. Now, interestingly enough, the owner does not have executable, but the group does. And that is where our attack is going to be, because the group whom Backstein is a part of can execute this file. So what we can do in a case like this is we're going to find a Python reverse shell script and add it to this file. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to do Python 3 reverse shell. Alright, so I could use PenTestMonkey, but first I'm going to go here. PenTestMonkey is great. Alright, so here we go. In GitHub, we have the reverse shell cheat sheet. Here's Python. And here are some underneath Linux only. Here are some scripts. So first, I'm going to go back to my terminal, and I'm going to do nano cube.sh. Okay, we're in the file. So let me get to the bottom. And now I am going to go back to that page. And this is the one we want. You know what, let's go with this one. So I'm going to copy this script, this one-liner script. Go back to my terminal, paste it here, and first make sure, since we're using Python 3, let's put the 3 there. And now, my IP address, because remember this is a reverse shell, so I'm going to put my own IP in here. And let's open up another tab, get my own IP address. It is 10.13.6.1.12. Alright, so I'm going to go back here. 10.13.6.112. And this is the port we're going to use, although I like to use 4444, so I'm going to come over here and do 4444. Why am I doing this? Because I have to start a listener. So that is everything. And now I'm going to do Control X, and I'm going to save this. And now I am going to exit out of this secure shell. This way, when I log back in, it'll run and hopefully run our Python one-liner script. So I'm going to back out. I'm going to go back to this tab, and I'm going to start my listener. So I'm going to do rlwrap netcat-lnvp 4444. And we're listening. And now I'm going to go back to this and go back into our secure shell. And so now we already have this password. let's see if I can do the copy and paste again. Ah, all right, it didn't take it. So I'm going to copy it. I'm going to type it in manually. Sick with a 1, 3N. So sick with a 1, 3N. Capital Bluff plus secure shell. Okay, it appears to be hanging. Let's take a look at our listener. And awesome, here we go. We've got a reverse shell, and that little pound symbol is telling me that it is also a root shell, which is always the name of the game. I'm going to do ID, and here we are. We're root. We always want to be root. So I'm going to CD into the root directory, and there's a flag there. Sweet, we always want the flag. Let's cat the flag. And congratulations, that's the root flag. Nice work. The CTF was built with love in every byte by @Berserko on Twitter. So thanks, @Berserko. We are done, and I hope you all enjoyed pwning this room as much as I did. And if you did, I would hope that you would like and subscribe, and hope to see you all in the next video. So until then, hack the planet.